Good afternoon and happy Friday, everyone. It is Friday, midday-ish, noon here, but some other time potentially where you are. Welcome to SketchUp Live. My name is Aaron. With me is Donovan.
My name is Donovan.
There we go.
With me is Aaron.
We got that straight. Welcome.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to do a live stream that is 2 weeks in the making because I had to back out last week. So we're back. We're committed to doing this. It wasn't the topic that stopped me. It was schedule, but it's all cleared up now, and we're going to do this. It's going to be fun. We're going to model a picnic table from scratch and get some level of assembly drawing put together for it. So yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a good one. We happen to have Donovan, who is a builder of things. So designer of things, builder of things. It's going to be good. We're going to get this thing looking like it could actually be made.
At times, yeah, a builder of things that you designed.
It's happened before. So Donovan is actually lucky enough to have actually built some somewhat complex structures based on plans that I made in SketchUp and Layout. So to that end, we're going to take what's not a terribly difficult piece and model it and ship it over to Layout and generate some level of assembly drawing. So I don't know how much that's going to be, but I think enough that somebody could put this together based on the drawings. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that we said we need to.
Yeah, speaking of fantastic segues, welcome everybody. We got people here from Lexington, Kentucky, from Devon, UK, from Norfolk, UK, from, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry, Klobuchar, Poland,
Ooh.
From the lowlands, wherever the lowlands are, sunny Vancouver, Canada.
This is going to be fun. Yes, Bill, we will take this into Layout today. So my plan is to spend an hour plus, something like that, in SketchUp making this model and then getting it all laid out and into Layout for some quick plans. They said these aren't going to be comprehensive step-by-step assembly plans so much as here's all the things to cut and here's a rough idea of how to put it together, but we'll see how much time we have. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
You know, that may be a good topic for a SketchUp Live is instead of modeling, taking a model and making those comprehensive build plans. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. My concern with it is, like, when I do that, I start to get bored after the third page because it ends up being a lot of the same process. You know, So we go view it, zoom in on these pieces laid out flat, dimension them, and then assembly drawing. And then next page, same thing. So possibly, yeah, maybe so. We'll see. Again, this is an experiment. We've done a little bit of layout from models before, but we've never done this before. So we'll see where we get to in 2 hours. Maybe this will end up being something that we can dive deeper into in another session, but we'll see. But anyhow, for now, let's hop in and let's get modeling. Here we go. All right, so we are in SketchUp. Yep, Tom, and a nice outdoor thing going on. You know, we're building a picnic table, so we're outside. It's going to be fun. So I'm not working off of plans so much as a general picnic table. I want to make this out of primarily 2x6s, maybe some 2x4s in there for smaller pieces. But yeah, I want to kind of gauge how big this should be based on the model. I mean, just based on this. I'm not really hardcore, I don't have hard set fast plans. So we're just going to go off of what we do right now. So like I said,
in that vein, have you built a picnic table before?
I have not. No, I have built some benches, some end tables. But yeah, this itself is going to be the first time designing this particular thing. I've sat on a lot though. I've sat on I don't know. I can't. I can't even count how many picnic tables I sat at.
You have experience with them. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm gonna know. I'm gonna know when I pretend to sit on this if it's right or not. So yeah, let's start with the 2x6. So for 2x6, I'm gonna come in here.
Eric Sargent says, hey, open window, open 3D warehouse, 2, search for picnic table, 3, download, 4, place a model, and bam.
Okay, yeah. If your goal is Entourage, and you're good with any old picnic table, then go for it. This is worth bringing up. Thank you, Eric. Good to see you, buddy. But for real, people ask this all the time with our how to model sessions that we do. We do this on our short form videos. We do this obviously every Friday. Like, why are you modeling that? Why can't you just go download the file? 9 out of 10 times, yeah, you probably could go find a file on 3D Warehouse or some other site, grab it, bring it in. That's awesome. And if what you're going for is to have that model just kind of in the background or as part of your entourage in a structure or something like that in a larger model, awesome. I think you should do that. You should save yourself time. We're doing this for a couple reasons. One is it's a good thing to practice to learn how to model things in SketchUp. SketchUp is at its core a 3D modeling software, and it's made to make things. So it's a good thing to learn how to do to make the stuff you want to use. Number 2, we're pretending we're going to build this. I personally would not want to go out into the shop and try to make something that I just pulled off 3D Warehouse and have no idea where it came from. Downloading a model that was like from a woodworking spot where I knew everything was on point and it broke down into plans, that would be different. But yeah, in this case, getting there is the actual adventure. So with that, let's move on. Was not a bad idea by any means, but just explaining where we're going and why we're being intentional about this. All right, so I'm going to make this out of 2x6s, which of course we all know is not actually 2 inches by 6 inches. It is actually 5.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And we have in the past gone into some depth about why nominal sizes are what they are. Look up that stream. I'm not going to go into it again. All right. I'm thinking we'll make like a 6-foot table. Does that make sense? That sounds good. 6 foot. So if the tabletop is 6 feet, that means the benches are going to be 6 feet. It means there is no material in this thing that is bigger than 6 feet. So that means I can take this piece and I can put materials on it. I can make it a component and I can reuse it over and over and over again. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go in, grab my paint bucket. Oh, look at that. I'm already in wood. Let's see. What is this material? Wood veneer. Ew. Plywood, floor, wood planks. I'm just going to try that, see what that looks like. Huh. We're building out of reclaimed wood right off the bat. That's not a pretty wood. All right, let's touch on a couple things right here. Thing number one is I don't need my colors window to be that big. I have like one row of materials up there. We could shrink this down and make it usable. There we go. Sit right there, pal. Okay, that was thing number 0. Thing number 1 here is our planks are obviously running the wrong direction. This doesn't look like a plank. It's obviously not right. To change this, I'm going to pick on one face, not a face on the edges. If I double click, it selects all of it. Triple click selects the entire collected geometry. I just want a single face. If you click on anything other than a single face, when you right click, you won't get this texture menu. So if I double click and get the face and the edges around the outside, I right click, texture's no longer there. If I get just that one face, right click, now I have texture. What I'm gonna do real quick is I'm just gonna hit position. Then I'm gonna, in here, I could come in, grab this handle and then move it around like this. And this isn't a bad way to get it, to where it needs to be, but I'm gonna do a shortcut and right click, rotate 90 degrees. And then that goes the correct direction. I like that.
That's a tip that I just had to do myself in a model that we're doing.
That's what we're here for. Uh-oh. On the bottom, I don't like the way it lined up because a seam ended up there. So I'm going to texture position again. Again, I'm spending a little extra time. I'm actually moving it so it's between the screws on these boards. You can see that this image itself is like an old deck or something like that, because I got these screws. I got some little weeping coming out of the screws there, and it's obviously an older wood because it's all gray. But we can fix that. I want the texture here. I'm not really concerned about the color. Oh, look at that screw right in the middle of the side too. I'm not good with that. Like I said, full on reclaim is what we got going on here. There we go. All right, so there we go. So now we should have no screws. No, dang it. Should. Position. I'm spending a little extra time on this, like I said, because all the rest of the pieces that I do from here on out will be built off of this board. So it's worth spending a little bit of time on here. That looks pretty good.
Slow is fast and fast is slow.
That's right. I don't know what that means, but I think I agree. The other thing I can do, like I said, this looks like a reclaimed board. I don't like that so much. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to go to the material, double click on it. And in here, I can flip over to color. And now I can actually change the color here. So I want to make it much brighter and I want to make it a little more saturated. It's kind of a washed out grayish color. So I'm going to push a little bit more up into this yellowy orange and get a color that looks more like, it still looks like it's reused a little bit, but that's okay. I think it looks like maybe I reclaimed and sanded down this board or something like that. But maybe this was actually 2x6 when I got it, and I put it through my planer and got it to a nominal 2x6. Sometimes storytelling's fun. All right.
It's one way to do it.
With that, I'm going to take that. I'm going to make it a new component, and I'm going to call this my 6-foot 2x6. Bam. Now, depending on what I was doing, if I'm going to use like generate report or something like that to get the cut length off of this, that sort of thing, then I would probably just call it 2x6. I'm not going to use generate. This whole thing is going to have like 5 pieces. So I'm not worried about generate report or getting a cut list or anything like that. It's going to be simple enough that I don't have to worry about that. But if you were using like the cut list extension or generate report, then you might want to call it something different. I'm calling it 6-foot 2x6 because for me, because there's so few pieces in this project, I can actually name them what they are one by one. All right, so that looks...
we got a comment
awesome
on LinkedIn saying, I have problems with the inside model material being gray.
What's the problem with that? So yes, the default materials, when you look on the inside of it, it's white on the outside, inside is gray. Is that what you're asking? Because yeah, if you... I'm watching the Sod is saying...
Oh, he says, he followed up to say, if you hide a face, you see it.
Correct. Sorry, I don't have more to offer other than yes, that is right. That's how it works. If you have a piece like this and you hide a face, you will see the inside, and the inside by default will be this gray color. Yes. All right. Sod we may get more information on that. But right now I'm going to do a thing.
Yeah, there might be.
So this is my tabletop. You can see we're already like a third of the way through this model. I'm going to do something here. So right now I got each of these boards look exactly the same. The scratches on it are the same. So I'm going to do some stuff to like mix this up a little bit. I'm going to grab this board right here. I'm going to go to flip and flip it along the blue axis. So the bottom is showing now. I'm going to do that again over here. I'm going to say, flip this again, show me the bottom. This one right here in the middle, I'm going to flip, but I'm going to flip it along the red axis to make it go the opposite direction. And then I'll do that. This one, I'm going to flip this way and this way. All right, so when I do that, I do have 2 boards to show. I only have 4 different orientations I can put these boards in. Up, down, up, reverse, down, reverse. So I can only have 4 original. So these 2 are the same, but that looks different enough that I don't know that I immediately pick out the repetition of those 2 boards. All right. That looks
Ooh,
good.
Randy says,
Mm-hmm.
so is it better to apply the material to the exterior of an object or go inside and apply it to each surface?
I will say that for something like this, where I want control. So two things, two issues that come up. One is, and Donovan has experience with this because we did this. We did this earlier. Was that this week?
Yeah.
If you color the outside of a component, then every face gets that automatically applied, which isn't bad if you're doing something like coloring something, right? So maybe you want to color key materials. My plywood is yellow and my studs are going to be red and my 2x6s are going to be green or something like that. Then you can apply that to the outside and that works just fine. Something like this where I have a direction of the grain, that kind of thing, when you apply to the outside of a container, you can't individually texture or orient individual faces. It's all or none. It just puts it on everything and you're done. So something like this where I went in and was very intentional about which way the grain was going, which way the material was, all that has to be done face by face. So you have to do that inside. So yeah, that's a good question. All right, I'm going to grab all of these. So these are components. I'm going to put those components into a group. That group is my tabletop, right? So I want to make sure that that all stays together. Now I want to raise that up, and I'm trying to think of how high. So I've talked about this before, but when I design, I have this little 6-foot tape measure, and it actually sits on my desk. I have usually a ruler, a calipers, and a tape measure on my desk because I can look at stuff like right now, I'm sitting at a desk that is 30 inches high. So sometimes when you're designing and if you know a value really good, you can just go with it. But if I don't know, I'll pull this out and go, okay, what does 20 inches look like? So I can gauge, is that the right size I want? So yeah, so a little free tip there. But if I want to make it the same height as this, which seems pretty good, then I'll move that up. I'm going to move it up 29 inches. It's 1.5 inches, so that means the top to the bottom now is 30. There we go. 2'6.5". All right, so I like that. That looks pretty good. Yes, Randy's saying he feels like he went out of his way to go get all of his materials the way he needed them, but sounds like he did the right thing. It was not
makes
just
a difference.
OCD.
It really does.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my group and I'm going to copy these two pieces. I'm going to paste them. I'm going to start with them right here like this. I'm going to drop them down vertically. Start with a foot down. That doesn't seem like quite. How far am I? Actually, a foot's about right. And then I'm going to scoot them out maybe like 4 inches. That looks pretty good. I kind of like that.
Okay, so we have a follow-up from LinkedIn.
All right.
It has to do with giving a material, using a glass material, and then exporting to D5 render. It just makes the inside faces gray.
So what you want to do in that case is put that glass material on the front and back side faces of the material.
So if you were to go to component and triple click, does it automatically do the front and back side faces of a component?
So if I was to put glass,
or does it only do like the forward facing?
Right. So if I put,
does it and back side faces of a component?
So if I was to put, inside and also do the inside. So that gives me both inside and outside now are glass. But that would make for a terrible picnic bench. Yeah, So make sure your inside faces and outside faces are the same material. All right, I'm going to grab these two. I'm going to mirror them to the center of the bench like this. So we get two. Awesome. All right, now I'm going to grab one of these, copy it over here. I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to line it up right here, and then I'm going to bring it in 6 inches.
Yeah, for those watching, there is some buffering issues
We still haven't.
today. Yeah, you keep freezing up.
I'm not frozen right now. I'm just looking at my screen. Sorry, I'll do this as I look at my screen.
He is also really good at like not moving when he's got his thinking face on. Johnny 5 says you could create a custom material with the correct back and front material and then apply to the correct surfaces.
Yes, you could. That's right. All right, I'm gonna stop acting like I'm swimming up short of screen. All right, let's get back over here. All right, so I did just grab this piece and I copied it over here because this is gonna be my, I don't know what you call it, stringer seat support dealie. So it's gonna sit underneath the seats holding it up. This is gonna be something different because it's not gonna be the same material. It's gonna be the same material. It's cut from a 2x6, but it's not the same length and it's not gonna have the same cut. So I'm gonna click right here, right click here, hit make unique. Now I'm gonna come in here and I want to put an angle cut on this. I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna kind of go backwards on this. Let's go like 3 inches over, and then we'll cut up like that. Take that across like that. And same thing over here. I'm gonna come here, down, over 3 inches, back up, and I can just push that across like that. And now I have that new piece. I am going to make a series of materials here to support this side. I'm going to do this once and then copy it over to the other side. I'm not going to do this both times, and I'm not going to copy them one time. So I'm going to get both my legs, my support here for the top. I'm going to get all that made first and then copy it over. Just FYI. I know what I'm doing, man. All right, so I'm going to take this piece, option copy it straight up to the bottom here. I'm going to slide it over like this so I hit that. I'm going to make this a smaller piece. I'm going to actually make this. So I'm going to, again, make unique. And something I can be doing here, we don't need materials anymore since all of this is going to be the same material. I could call this my, how wide is this? 2 foot 3.5. 2 foot 3.5. Oops. 2 foot 3.5 inch. There we go. And this is going to be actually a 2x4 piece. We're going to make this a little bit smaller. So then what I'll do is I'll grab this end cut. I will slide this back this way. And then, like I said, it's going to be a 2x4. So I'm going to come up 2 inches and draw an edge all the way across like that. And then I can just pull that through, and now I have a little 2x4 piece there. I should probably go fix this too, because this piece right here is...
Okay, so Cherevier says, remove the texture from the entity info. By changing the texture by default color, you get the model with no texture, but with the mapping. And then texture from outside the group.
I'm not sure I followed exactly that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was processing.
Sometimes I don't know if you're frozen.
You would have seen the little loading thing going on my head right there. I don't know that I caught exactly. Yeah. Okay, remove the texture from entity info by changing the texture.
Remove the texture from the entity info by changing the texture by default color. You get a model with no texture, but with the mapping. And then texture from outside the group. I think I'm reading that right. Enter
Yeah.
off knowledge. Enter off
Regardless of how you
Yep.
do that, well, I guess this depends on what if this question is going back to the earlier question we had about these materials. Regardless of what you do, you cannot edit a texture on a face if you texture the whole group. So in order to get this grain running the right way, this has to be applied to a face. So that was why I was saying I would always want to do this on the outside, because I want to be able to control where this face sits. Yeah. So I get what you're saying, but regardless of the default material, I would personally tend to stay away from putting stuff on the face. I guess that's what I was going for there. Cool. Hey, we had the first one here. How long in are we? We're 26 minutes in, and we got a first request to save.
Yep, to save.
Let's do that. All right. I want to put a leg on here now. So I'm going to grab this piece. I don't know if this is going to work or not, because I don't know how my angles are going to work out, but I'm going to take that and I'm going to rotate it so that this comes to flat. I'm going to then slide it on in here. Enough so that it clears this. I think that's going to work. By golly. I don't know that there's a specific measurement that I want this to be in, but I'm going to come up with an even dimension. So yeah, let's put this like 4 inches in. There we go. That way, when I go to lay this out, then I can, so if I was trying to dimension where these line up, I can get a nice even dimension off of here, rather than saying, you know, it's about whatever.
Ish,
yeah,
sort of.
Not a ishes are not great. So same thing here. Let me look and see where this laps over. See, that's 1'7".
We got our first Yogi Bear. Is it a picnic table or a picnic table, boo boo?
Nice. Nailed it. All right. To cut this off at the floor, I'm going to draw a line like just a face like this that I can trim to. But before I do that, again, I'm going to make unique. And then come in here, draw an edge across here. There we go. And let's get an overall length on this. 3 1/16. So I'm going to call this my... Again, I wouldn't do this way if I had more than the number of pieces I'm going to have, but I only have one more piece that I'm going to draw. 2 more pieces. All right, I'll take that one. I'm going to use my good buddy mirror. I can't because I don't have a face right here. So I'll have to do this. Spin it around like that. And then slide it like that. There we go.
Left.
Cool. So that is my leg assembly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these 4 pieces and make them a group. I'm going to actually make these a group. Make these a group. I'm a big fan of grouping things. So if I was making something more complex like a shed or a house or something like that, each stud would be a component, and then like an individual wall would be grouped at that point. The framing would be. And then maybe I'd put sheathing and insulation or whatever, the additional pieces, then that would be a group. So I'm a big fan of grouping pieces as I go, just to keep it easier to move things around, but then also thinking about assembly. So when I go in and put this in, these pieces right here would be the first things I'd probably assemble. and then dimension where the planks go on top of them based on that. All right, I'm gonna flip these around. I'm gonna grab this group, gonna mirror. I'm gonna take this to the middle of the bench. There's my middle point. Option to make a copy. Never before have I been 30 minutes in and been like, I could be done any minute now. Like this feels, honestly feels a little weird. I don't like it. Yeah, looks pretty cool. Hold on, I'm checking the comments to see what I'm doing wrong because I'm sure it's here somewhere.
Well, a lot of people are just commenting on the dial-up connection speeds that we got going up today.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
And reminiscing about, you know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Apparently, your from what people in the comments say, your connection speed is temperamental and is affected by wind.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm not sure. I'm looking at like my upload speed right now, 60 megabits per second, 70, 80. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a restream thing because I have literally done everything I can to make sure I'm streaming as best I possibly can be. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do. Everything on my end, on my computer, it says everything is just flying up. I'm not gonna say it's you. It's not me. I could very well be me, but yeah. I'm just gonna keep rolling. That's all I can do. That's all I can do.
Oh, Bill says, have you done any anti-tipping calculations? The first one I made, any two heavy people sitting on one side of the table ended up with food on the table in their laps. Hilarious, but dangerous.
Yeah, I have not done anything like that, but I have been. So one of the nice things about a wood table like this, the fact that the legs go out from the middle. Yeah, I have not done anything like that. I'm assuming this comes out far enough to catch. It's not much of a cantilever between here and here. What do we got? Like 3 inches? Yeah, less than 3.5 inches. So I don't think you could get enough overturning moment on the seat, but I have not done any actual math to validate that. All right, I'm gonna do a couple things here. I'm gonna put in a center, I don't know what you'd call it, brace piece in the middle, here and under here. I'm gonna use this one as I'm gonna copy it. I'm going to paste it. Oops, nope, not gonna mix it. Not gonna spin it. Something like that, and then I want to get it lined up right with the middle. So I'm gonna grab it like this. I'm gonna come across till I hit the midpoint. Bam.
Ooh, Randy says you could put a red and white checkerboard tablecloth on there.
One could. It really doesn't help me get where I'm trying to go. But I'm gonna come.
Cloth.
Could. All right, I'm gonna take this board right here, and again, just to keep stuff from looking uniform, I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna grab this one. This one's gonna be unique because it's going to be 11 inches. Like that. I'll flip that too, since I don't want it to look the same. The ends look a little
Bill says when people sit down, they lean backwards to get in. If there's a gap in the seat, if the gap in the seat between the seat and the table is too small. And Peter says, I concur that the horizontal boards need to be spaced apart about 3/8 of an inch.
Oh, to put a gap between these? Guys, you know how far along I am right now? 3/8 of an inch? That seems significant. It's almost a half inch. You could drop a potato chip through that. Okay. All right, we can do that. We can do all this.
Well, we'll just call it a dog-friendly picnic table so that you could drop a potato chip in
That's
between
true.
that gap.
No, I was just wondering that. Like, would you put this snug, or for like, I mean, a gap between pieces is not a bad idea. It does give you the ability for like, if rain gets on here, it's going to run through rather than pooling, which is going to make your board last longer. So it's not a bad thing to do by any means. That's a good idea. I just could have used those ideas a little bit ago.
Antonio says maybe you could put a hole in the middle of the table for support for a parasol.
Yeah, that's also possible. I love it. I'm
Studio,
joking, but I do love the ideas you guys come up with. It's awesome.
Studio RT Cool says, I wish you could call for a center snap like with a keyboard key instead of just finding it with the mouse. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I know what he is saying. I agree. That would be kind of cool to be able to just basically snap lock or snap searching. That would be kind of neat. That's a great idea.
Post it on the forum. Let the devs know.
That's right. So do like that. Make this unique too. So I want this kind of like kicker thing coming up. This is this end. I'm sorry, I'm kind of making some of this stuff up as I go. I'm not sure exactly how to do this. I've never designed one of these before. That'll go like that. And then I think what I want to do then is I'm just going to square cut this right here for right now. Because I think I want to rotate this so that this hits this. I'll do a compound cut up here. Yes, that is what I want. All right, I'm going to run this end long. Rotate it again so that this, there we go.
Are you thinking or you pause?
I did think for a second there. I apologize for thinking.
Okay. No, you don't need to apologize for thinking. I'm just again, I just need to figure if it's
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
lag or if it's
I'm not sure what's going on. We may have to reach out to Restream, the streaming company we work with, and see if there's a way to monitor what's actually coming through to Restream, because what's outgoing of my computer right now is plenty fast. I'm keeping an eye on it. I haven't dropped. Sometimes I do drop. Sometimes my speed goes low. But that hasn't happened today. So all right, I'm gonna take this piece. I'm going to mirror it. Actually, no, I'm not apparently, because let's get under here. Oh no! My material here is not good. It's going the wrong direction. There we go. Any more of those? Oh, this one's off too. Of each.
Johnny Five says
Save.
he says this could be one of those cool picnic tables that transforms into a bench.
Again, I love the ideas, but it's not going to be that. No, I do think those are cool. And I would definitely need. It's possible.
Okay.
It could be. That could be happening. I don't really understand how. That could be happening. I don't really understand how things like internet work, so I'm not going to guess. Yeah. Said I just keep looking up at what my upload and download speed are.